Well, good morning. Hello, everyone. I am chuckling because I'm looking at my new reading glasses and I think I have men's glasses on, which is just par for the course. Or maybe they're fashionable because they're large. I don't know. But good morning. It is the 7th of March in 2025, and welcome to the Passion Translation devotions that we've been going through now. This is our 82nd day, and today we're in the book of Zechariah, and we're in chapter 10, and that would put us on page 406 of our books. And I'm glad that you're able to come and watch this afterwards or come on now. We're usually here at 7:30 in the morning. I know we will be for the next 5 days while we're finishing Zechariah. And today, the title of this chapter is Yahweh Cares for His People. And this is really beautiful about the shepherding heart of God that He has for us as His children, as His little lambs, sheep. And so let's read what it says here and we'll talk about it a little bit. It says, "Ask Yahweh for rain in the season of the latter rain, for Yahweh is the thunderstorm maker. He will give them the outpouring of rain, causing the grain of the field to flourish. The household gods babble nonsense. The fortune tellers see false visions. Dreamers peddle delusions and give comfort in vain. Therefore, the people have strayed like scattered, suffering, lost sheep because they have no shepherd." This is the first paragraph, and it just reminds me of how society gets so turned around and chaotic when they don't have the great shepherd to lead them. And that's because they don't actually have anybody telling them. How can they know unless somebody tells them who the Lord is? And so that's our job. And I really feel like the Lord is saying this morning, one of the many things that He's going to be saying to us is that we have got to be able to speak up about who this Jesus is that has changed our lives and how He's met us in the difficulties of life, which we'll read about here in a moment. "I'm so enraged in the so-called shepherds, and I will vent my anger and punish the proud leaders. I, Yahweh, commander of angel armies, care deeply for my flock, the people of Judah. I will transform them from a shepherdless flock of sheep into brave battle horses of splendor. Out of them will emerge the cornerstone and the tent peg. From them will emerge battle bows and warrior captains." Well, that's the first page, and I want to stop and make some comments here about some of this. When we look in verse 1, we see that he says that He is the thunderstorm maker, and God actually is our provider. He is provision for us. He makes the rains come to grow the crops that we have something to eat every day. I was thinking about this yesterday as I was prepping food for my daughter's dinners when she comes home, and just sauteing vegetables and putting them in a container for her to be able to add to her food. And where do we get these crops and vegetables? Hopefully we're getting them locally because that's the best nutrition for us, but He's the one that brings the rain. I was thinking about that also as I have 4 little lettuce plants that are growing amongst other seeds that I don't know. I hope they'll sprout, but sometimes seeds can be old, and got them all in the ground a few weeks ago along with some other bulbs that I'm hoping will produce some beautiful flowers. It was an exciting day for me of gardening, and God is the one who's been bringing the rains, and we've had a lot of rain, um, just gentle rains and the thunderous lightning type of rains. Lord, He is the one that causes these things to happen, because he's thinking of us. He says he cares deeply about us. And he knows that without the rain, we wouldn't have food and we wouldn't have the beauty around us of things watered, the earth watered and cleansed and fed and nourished. People getting water too. And so it says here in verse 2 that the people have, scattered after the household gods have babbled nonsense. This word is teraphim, a term used for family gods passed down through the generations, usually figurines in human form. God was saying, don't ask idols to help you. They're not going to be able to answer you. It will be in vain. I'm the one who will always provide for you. I'm the one who can give you your rain, your crops, and all that you need. I see this as a widowed mother. I've seen the provision of the Lord and the hand of the Lord over and over and over for our family. And when I feel like I'm going to go into distress over our needs, somehow He has pushed an envelope into our mailbox or sent us an unexpected gift. And it has always been like such a calming to my soul to know that He sees us and knows our needs. Also, these proud leaders in verse 3, these so-called shepherds, are literally he-goats, is what it's called in the notes, he-goats, he-goats, which is a metaphor for domineering and oppressive leaders. It's a person who holds absolute power in a wicked way. And we can see these examples in Isaiah 14:9 and Ezekiel 34:7. I wanted to read. I don't have my phone. I was going to read Isaiah 14:9, but it talks about how in the underworld these really awful leaders are down there. They're being punished. God has them in hell. You can read about that in Isaiah 14. And then I also wanted to point out here that God is a God of transformation. And you see how He says that also in verse 3 that He will transform these people from a shepherdless flock of sheep, had no shepherd, no one to lead them and guide them and care for them and nurture them. And they're going to become brave battle horses of splendor. That is quite a transformation. If you can think of the visual of that, going from lambs and sheep who have no guidance and are out in the wilderness and have no care, and they become these battling horses who are brave and full of splendor. That is the kind of transformation that God has for our own lives, where He will take us from these little inability, nothing-like state to such grand purpose and such fierceness in our walks. That's who He wants us to be. Excuse me. So I just want to tell you, first of all, He's your provider, and He's also the one who can bring transformation. Bye, honey. Transformation to you and transformation to me. And then in verse 4, this is really beautiful. It says, out of them will emerge the cornerstone and the tent peg. And this is a messianic prophecy of Jesus. This is talking about our Messiah, Christ Jesus, the cornerstone. In verse 4 here, Jesus is depicted as the cornerstone, but we often hear that. We have actually worship songs about that. But also, we haven't really crafted a worship song about Him being a tent peg. But there is a really cool correlation here that I hope somebody will pick up on, where the tent peg is actually referring to the nails that went through Jesus' feet and hands, and how the nails, if you read in Isaiah 22, which again I was going to read to you, but I don't have my phone to look it up, but Isaiah 22 verses 23 and 24, you will see another corollary prophetic piece about this. And he is emerging, it says, out of these shepherdless flocks who are turning into warrior horses, and Jesus himself will emerge with battle bows and warrior captains. So just wanted you to see that, because that's incredible. Now we're at the top of page 407, and it says, together they will be like warriors, trampling the foe in battle like mud in the streets. They will fight because Yahweh fights with them. They will defeat and humiliate the horsemen. I will make the people of Judah mighty and the descendants of Joseph victorious. So he's the one who makes us mighty. He's the one, he's our equipper. He gives us the ability to be victorious. He's our trainer, like a personal trainer, who can come in and make our muscles and bodies that are weak and frail into strong, resilient muscles and body, ability. And we will be able to fight because he fights with us. We will be able to, now I'm talking about fighting the enemy of our souls. I'm not talking about fighting people. But he fights for us and with us, and he strengthens us for battle. I will make the people of Judah mighty and the descendants of Joseph victorious, and I will bring them back home because I have compassion on them. They will be as though I had never rejected them, for I'm Yahweh their God, and I'll answer their prayers. The people of Israel will be like warriors. Their hearts will be cheered as though by wine. Their children will see this and be full of joy, and their hearts will celebrate and rejoice in Yahweh. I will whistle to call them home as a shepherd gathers his sheep. I just love this. If you can just imagine those that you love who have strayed away, who are outside of the sheep pen right now. God, there is a divine shepherd whistle that is going out through the earth. I just speak this, I declare this. There's a divine shepherd whistle going out through the earth that is calling those who have strayed away from the sheep pen. He's calling them home, and they can hear it. They hear that. I wish I could imitate it, but I don't know how to whistle like that. But they will hear it, and it will be so deep in their hearts, they'll know it's God calling them back. And he says, I have redeemed them, and they will be as numerous as ever before. Though I sowed my people as seed among the nations, they will remember me in those faraway lands. I'll bring them home from Egypt and gather them back from Assyria. I'll lead them back into the land of Gilead and Lebanon. And even there they will not have enough space. So God's people are being called back to Israel, which is something also prophetic that we're seeing happening through these last, 50 years or so, where they're making their way back, and there's not even going to be enough space to hold them. There's going to be so many of them. And then I'm now on page 408, and I love this about God's character as well. He says at this verse 11, I will cross the turbulent sea of trouble and calm its waves. All the depths of the Nile will dry up. I will humble arrogant Assyria and dismantle the power of Egypt. I'll make my people mighty in me, and they will walk in my name. I, Yahweh, declare it. So, he is the one who calms the turbulent seas, the troubled seas. He is the one who calms the waves, both figuratively and in the natural. He actually stills the waters. He calls the waves back and forth in their formation to hit the beach and then retract. It's absolutely amazing how God has ordered things in the earth. And yet also he wants to speak to our hearts today, our troubled hearts, our turbulent seed hearts. And he wants to say to you that he is there for you and for me, and he wants to be that calmer of the storm. So let's thank him that he's our provider. He brings the rain. He is our transformer. He transforms our lives, making us something out of nothing. And then when you are going through storms in your life, Jesus wants to be for you the one who calms the waves of your heart. And this is so powerful. How many times have I sat down, just put my hand on my heart? Lord, where would I be without you? Who am I apart from you? I can do nothing apart from you. But through Jesus and what he has accomplished, I can do all things through Christ now who strengthens me. Isn't that the most amazing verdict of our life? Now, because of who Jesus is and what he's done for us, we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us, and he will come to you as he's come to me and will continue to calm the storms and the seas that you are in. And lastly, in verse 12, I will make my people mighty in me, and they will walk in my name. I, Yahweh, declare it. And isn't that fantastic? He says he will make his people mighty again. And so we know the end of the story. We know how things will go. We are in the very, people say we're in the last days. Well, we are in the last of the last days. We are in the last hours of the last days, I believe. And so we're going to see these prophetic things rapidly occur. And then we're going to be taken up into heaven. And I truly believe that. And I don't know how much time is left, but I know that he is true to his word, and he is going to continue to cause these things to happen according to his timeline. And we have the privilege of being alive during this time and watching all of these happen during our lifetime. All these things happen. All right, so now tomorrow on Saturday, we're going to be in chapter 11, where we'll be reading about him overflowing his empires and about the two staffs. There's a section about the two different staffs here. So I look forward to reading that with you, and I'm so glad that we could spend this time together again and thank the Lord that he calms our storms, our seas. He transforms our lives, and he's a great provider. And God bless you today. Good morning, Amy. God bless you all whenever you're able to come on, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.